We are 2 weeks out from the Rogue Invitational. I'm doing farmers into log, just the same as we're doing at the show. I'll give you some insights into how my prep's going so far, and join me for a full Rogue Invitational training session. Let's get after it. One of the points of interest in this event that I don't know if you'll actually feel it in comp or not, but training, if you grip the farmers a certain way and make your hands sore, makes it really uncomfortable to pick up the log. So that's something that I've been working with. But like I said, I've gone up to comp weight. We'll get a time today, and this should be an event win for me. One tip that I find really useful on moving events is that I almost carefully chase the weight the whole time. If you hold the weight right at your center of mass, you're gonna have to drive that with every step, and that's how you sort of get to plotting. You'll notice that when I carry farmers, I'm rounded and they're in front of me, and I'm chasing them down to not let them fall. And for me, that's the key to being fast. It's funny, I was feeling quite run down after Giant Slide Vegas. I think it was an accumulation of travel and work obligations, sponsors, meet and greets, competing, all of that. But I started to feel maybe 75, 80% by the time that World Tour Finals came around this past weekend. And 75, 80% in terms of energy, and like you can tell I'm a little bit sick. Strength has not gone anywhere. And it's funny, I feel almost better now than I did 2 weeks ago, but I've done nothing to take care of myself other than sleep, manage life stress, and eat as well as I can. And it's just the power of the basics. And it's like I run myself into a wall. I keep going with the basics. I don't allow myself to stop, and I sort of come back around, almost like I just adapt to that, and that becomes my new normal. And there's a lot of speculation going on about how I can do so many shows, how I can recover, how I can always be good. And the way that I can conceptualize it is, say, like a high-level amateur, someone trying to qualify for World's Strongest Man or for OSG or Giants Live. Those guys competing regularly, you'd say no problem, because that's not at their genetic limit. And that's just how I feel. I think if I was closer to my genetic limit, I would fall apart. But that's the only rational explanation as to why I'm staying together, is because I have a lot more to give and I have a lot more to go. And I'll keep staying motivated to do that. I think this year, every single competition, I've gotten better, and Rogue should be another step forward from every competition I've done so far. So I put up my full prediction video about this, and I did misspeak and talk about Trey Mitchell, who's not competing, and in my opinion should be. I think in everyone's opinion should be. But the invites went out before Trey got back from his Achilles, before he was good. So there should be no hate towards Rogue. You can't predict how someone's going to recover. But how I see the competition going, generally speaking, the deadlift Thor is going to win it. I believe I'll come second. The one thing is my back's been a little bit 50-50, but on a good day with my back, I'm better than I've ever been deadlifting. So it's, and to be fair, at Shaw, when I pulled 966 and came second, I was having a bad day with my back. So I'm capable of more than that on a good day, guaranteed. Then we go to farmers into log press. I think I'll have the inside track on this event. Then I think other guys who will be really good are Tom, Bobby Thompson, Evan Singleton, Luke Stoltman, and Matt Ragg. And to be honest, Thomas Evans, all guys really, really good on the log. And 150 farmers is light enough that most guys should go through that pretty easy. So, and then I think Thor's probably in after that 7, even if he finishes 3 on the log. Then we move to the inverse stones between me, Thor, and Tom. I think that's going to be a great battle and some important points. but I think I'm gonna be right in the mix, probably more than people give me credit for. I've been training stones hard. You guys just haven't seen it yet. And I only really have issues when I extend up onto high platforms. In terms of heavy stones, 1.3 meters, I showed at Shaw how good I can be. Going into day 2, it starts off with the push, carry, pull. The push has never been a problem for me. The Husafel, I carried that for 60 meters. We only have to carry it for 20 feet, so that's fine. Those two will move fast. Then it's into the arm over arm. The sled weight doesn't feel like it's going to be incredibly difficult, but I expect it to be heavy and a little bit fatigued. And Thor and I were literally this far apart from each other at the Strongest Men on Earth, and I've kicked myself for some just fumbling around, strategical errors, taking too much time. I know that I should have finished that event. We then move on to the yoke into power stairs. Now, yoke is obviously my best event. I'll have a lead on everyone going into the power stairs. And the interesting thing about these power stairs is they're shorter than we would expect. They are much shorter than the Giants Live. So that bit where the really tall guys have an advantage, that's totally wiped out. It's literally 6 inches shorter than we're used to, meaning that so long as you're strong enough to just pick it up off the ground, height shouldn't be a big player in who does this well. If that's the case, between my engine and my speed, I think I have the inside track on that event, and we finish up with an overhead medley, finally finishing up with an event where I'm super confident and very strong, going from 200-pound kettlebell to the Sear dumbbell at 115 kilos to Axel's, I forget the exact weights, but I know we're finishing on 180 or about 400 pounds. And Axel is one of my best events. I have the world record, so I should have the inside track for that. I like to think this is in my control. I like to think that I have the inside track. I like to think that if I do what I'm capable of, then I will win. I don't like having the target on my back, but I know it's been there, and I've showed that despite being there, I don't mind. I'll continue to go out and perform my best. But save this video, share it to other people. Let me be right, let me be wrong, but generally speaking, my predictions go pretty well. Now, to talk about some of my other training right now, yesterday I had an amazing day on stones. As you can see, little raspberries, but chalk only. I was doing runs up to 180, and I didn't miss the 180 stone chalk only, and I've only hit it a few times ever. It's miles better than my prep was for stones before Rogue in 2023 when I won, and before 2022 when I came third and I came second in those stones. I have the second best time on the inverse stones ever, and my training is going much better this time than when I trained in 2022. So that should be another really solid event for me. This is gonna be working weight for Rogue. Before I get stuck into this, I've released new plaid shoes with tier, lift heavy, be kind. On the heels, we'll pop the link to these guys down in the description. Go ahead, pick up a pair, limited run for you guys to enjoy. Wide toe based lifters. If you want a big overhead press, you know where to go. It's too light. It's all too light. Make it heavier, increase gravity. Do whatever the fuck you gotta do to make this shit harder. We're gonna get a bit of strict press action happening, some sets of 5 at 145 kilos. Just keeping the strict power up. That's probably the only thing that I wouldn't be top 3 in the world at if we had some sort of strict press in an event. My best strict log is 182, and for context, Andre Foytu has strict press a 210 log, and at 21 years old. So, being best at the sport is not being best in one event, but for me, and for Laws, of course, we just look at the things that I'm not top at, and try to improve those. And of course, strict press will never be in an event, but if you can strict press a heavier log, you're gonna be better able to control your push press on any weight of long. So it's got really good carryover there as well. The hard thing for me at the moment, and the weird thing as I move forward, is that when strongman started, it's sort of like you're at an amateur level, you're critiqued and assessed by your family and the people close to you. And they know who you are, so it's not that big of a deal if you perform or you don't. When you get to the pro level and you're one of the guys, you've got all the fans sort of looking at you and how you behave and what you do and what you say. And for me now, sort of like now, all of the guys are now looking at me and what I say and what I do. And it feels like the constant evaluation of not just who I am as an athlete, but who I am as a human being. And it's difficult because that's way more important to me. And no one's gonna be perfect all the time. And I'm certainly not. But you know, people amplify your good moments, which feels weird, and they amplify your bad moments, which doesn't feel good, obviously. And it's something that I'm trying to wrap my head around, something I'm trying to deal with better, and it'll probably take a little bit, but the whole like lonely at the top feeling is a very real thing. At the moment, I feel like I've got my friends, my family, and a few close friends in strongman who I can speak to and confide in. Otherwise, it feels like a battle that I'm fighting very much by myself. But lesson for you guys, friends and family is all you need to be along for the ride. And a lot of YouTube subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, go ahead, click that subscribe button and hear me talk shit more. It's funny, after I finish my major movements and I'm doing accessories, it's funny to think about, like, if someone walked in the gym and didn't know who I was, and I'm just doing lat pull down with a team of 3 in matching shirts, you're like, bro, you look like the biggest dickhead of all time. Little accessory tip. When you're doing your compound movements, your goal is to move the weight. However you manage to do that, your body will figure out the most efficient pattern. Maybe you'll have a cue or two to help you out. When it comes to accessories, unless it's a direct accessory like a pause deadlift, like a strict log press, but if it's like a lat pull down, a seated row, it's programmed for you not to train the movement, but to train the muscles. Therefore, weight has to be lower, form has to be stricter, and now your concentration has to go to the muscles that you're trying to work rather than the weight itself. The idea is that accessories are going to build those muscles to increase your potential for that to carry over to your compound lifts. $324. That's about where I stay. I'm gonna stay about there up through my road prep off season. I'm gonna cut to around 310. I've already lined up to train with a bodybuilder, one of my best mates, so you get some of that content in the off season, and hopefully just come in leaner, meaner, stronger next year. This is just a warm up. Thanks for watching, guys. Pop a comment down below if you want to support the channel, Lift Heavy Be Kind merch, and Don't Be a Can't shirts. Program's also down in the description. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and we'll catch you tomorrow.